Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this round five of the Development League for the Esports Racing Canada community. This round is at VIR North. This feels like a very big track for this car, especially on the front straight. It's such a wide front straight. You'll feel the slowness, but it's a great track to bump draft, especially on the straight. It's a very long straight. Apart from that, it feels good. It does feel slower than Summit Point, but very technical corners, some technical corners. So it's important to still understand this car and its capabilities, even though it's pretty slow. So let's get into it. So coming into this corner right here, turn one, I brake right in between the arrow and the one sign. So right over here, I shoot for 70% brakes. Basically, just don't brake too hard. This car doesn't have ABS. No traction control either, and it does not like trail braking in the normal sense of a GT car, of course, 'cause it's an open wheel, but you get the idea. A trail brake for this car is, especially for this corner, coming very fast. It's a hairpin. You got to lose a lot of speed. It's gonna look a bit more like this. So you peak pressure and then you trail in very lightly, right? It's not a lot of pressure. Uh, some other cars, maybe not open wheel, but a lot of cars, it's more like this, right? It's a lot more pressure. If you try to brake like this in the Formula V, it is doable, but usually you lose the car around here, right? Open diff, it'll just spin around. So around here, you'll just spin. So the idea is really just not a lot of pressure, right? So you can see coming to this corner here, not a lot of pressure at all. I mean, I'm barely hitting sorry, the brakes, just enough to put some weight on the front wheels. Coming into the curbing here, try to grab as little as you can of this, I guess, yellow and green strike match, whatever. Um, Ideally, you don't grab any. You can grab a tiny bit. You can see I grab a little bit. I mean, not even, actually, there's no contact patch on it. Ideally, you do that. So don't grab it at all. If you do, it's going to unsettle the car and it's going to make you run wide through this part of the hairpin here. And if you watch here, you can see I stick to the inside as much as possible, right? If you go too wide here, it's just a question of distance traveled. You'll spend more time on the track. So try to stay on the inside as much as you can. I get on throttle. My apex for this corner is basically the middle of this curb. So this is where I get back on throttle. Pretty aggressively, almost all of throttle all at once. Again, not very powerful car. You can get away with just smashing the throttle. It's not gonna make you spin around like a Porsche Cup or something like that. I'm hugging the inside as much as I can, so I want to come and join this curb at the end of my hairpin. Let's go get back into cockpit view to see what I'm looking at. So yeah, just come back and join this curb. Coming into this corner now. Ideally, you don't go completely on the inside or completely on the outside. I see a lot of people either do one or the other. One or the other. Sorry. Um, Two reasons for that. Well, first reason for the first one is you'll save some time on the distance, sure, but then you won't be really set up for this corner, so you'll be coming in. Imagine I'm on a blank canvas here. You'll be coming in and doing something like this, which is like too tight. So ideally, you want the line to look a bit more like this. You want to be a smoother, bigger radius. So also don't go too wide, or else you'll lose time on distance traveled. So it's a diminishing returns. I go right down the middle, a bit more on the inside, but it's not completely cutting it. I'm not trying to apex the inside or anything. Setting myself up. I leave myself some margin here. The track is made in a way. I mean, maybe it's just me feeling things, but it does look like there's a bit of camber here. Maybe I'm completely crazy right here. So you have like this sort of camber. I may be completely wrong. So I sometimes, well, always go and set up a margin. So I'm always staying a bit on the left side, not using the whole track. If you've ever ridden a bike, motorcycle, don't look where you don't want to go. So if you get too close to the side of the curb, it kind of feels like you want to go on it. And if you hit the grass in this corner, since you're pulling all the weight to the rear right because you're turning left, if your right wheel touches the grass, you're done. It's you're spinning. So I keep myself some margin, and you can see I don't brake very hard. Um, this corner, the way it's made, if you brake too hard, it's gonna spin you around. So try to not brake very hard. The only reason you want to brake here is just to give some pressure on the front wheels, give some weight on the front wheels, so you can, just get some grip. You don't want to just stop the car. You don't want to lose speed, right? The goal here is not to decelerate the car, it's just to move the weight forward. So very little brakes. I got on throttle pretty early here. Again, full throttle almost instantly. I straddled the curb and just don't off track here. That's basically how I see it. Don't hit here. If you get wheels on the dirt, it won't off track you automatically, but it will slow you down. So try to avoid that. Coming to this corner, I honestly do not have a braking reference for this corner. I kind of just go by feeling. After running a couple laps of practice, you will figure it out eventually. If you want a reference, it's like 2 car lengths after the end of this sort of offshoot. Comes back here. I guess 2 car lengths from going from this line, so like here. And then again, this corner is not much as it is about deceleration as it is just setting up the car for just slowing it down enough. Well, getting the weight on the front wheels again. Just get enough grip so you can turn in here, straddle the curb. And this complex right here is pretty tricky, so you want to set up every corner very well to get through it as fast as you can. So here I mount as much as I can, and apex really at the peak of the curb, which is right here. If you look from outside, yeah, like right here. So I try to apex here, and I also apex as late as you can, which is what I do here. I don't apex as late as I could. I could be apexing over here, but I really apex over here. The goal is really just to set yourself up for the next corner, which you can see again. I take it a bit wide, just so I could carry a bit more speed through the corner. So you can see just not using the full exit. If you're using the full exit, again, that's distance traveled, it's wasted time. So you want to find the right balance. If you go too much on the inside, you're burning out too much speed for the coming S's, which is a very long straight. But at the same time, don't go too wide or else you lose speed just off distance traveled. So again, just we'll run it back just to see it again. So mount the curb, go a bit wide here, lose some distance. And for the S, it's just going full straight. So straight as you can. For this corner, again, very little braking references you can use. This track doesn't have that many braking references sometimes. It's just off feeling. So again, here it's just a couple laps of practice, you'll figure it out. But it's just when you feel like when you start braking at a reasonable amount, you're not smashing the brakes here again. If you are, you're going to spin pretty easily coming up this hill. So just enough to slow down the car. I do 50%. Trail off pretty fast, again, because you don't want to leave too much weight on the front wheels with this car. Following the line. Ideally, you follow the white line. Here, I made a little mistake. I straddled this curb too much, and it sort of gave me wheel spin. So you'll see here. I actually went on the grass, and you can see my car sort of just jolts like that. It doesn't fishtail, but it does kind of want to go left. So you can see here, get a little bit of wheel spin, a little bit of correction. Ideally, you want to just follow the white line all the way through and just keep going. I maybe lost half a tenth here, maybe. use as much as you can. As long as you're on the asphalt here, you're on track. So if you ever figure out that you're kind of gonna go for like way too wide, you can always just use this whole part here as long as you're not like eating the cones, right? So keep that in mind. Again, straddling the curbs through the, I wouldn't say it's S's, but it is sort of. So you can keep doing that. Flat out through here. Again, sort of taking the curves. And then here, um, again, not many braking references. I'd say a car length from the end of this curb, I start braking. Not very hard, again, because this corner is pretty tricky in the sense that you are falling down a cliff. So you don't want to put too much brake pressure, or else you will get a lot of, I wouldn't say wheel lockup, but sort of wheel lockup, and you'll just come in too hot for the amount of grip that is available. So I just try to brake as little as I can just to burn off some speed so I can carry up into this corner. Again, just following the curbing. Basically, very little straddling, just enough to use all the track available to me, but not too much because if you go over the strike part here, again, like we talked about in turn one, it would unsettle the car too much and probably make you run wide into the grass. Because you can see here, I use a lot of the track, almost all the track, so there is not much space for mistakes, right? So apex at this start of this curb right here, and then it'll naturally make you flow out as you get back on throttle. Don't be scared. You can get half the car over. The off track would be if this part of my car right here would be to the left of this. So I still have a bunch of margin. I'm not using it, but keep that in mind. Trying to keep it as tight as possible. This car is so slow, so keeping a tight line on this track is not gonna burn off that much speed compared to like a GT3, for example, right? So keeping that in mind, just hugging the inside, preparing for the next corner. Before this corner happens, I short shift to fourth because it saves me a lot of time at the bottom of this hill for when the straight is coming up. So short shift right around here, straddle the curb, and then right before the compression, well, before the, I guess before you start really going downhill, right after the curb, I start lifting, and I don't get back on throttle, or don't, I guess, re uh, reuse 100% throttle as long as I'm not getting to that compression part. If you get on the throttle before that, like right now, if I got on throttle right now, you're not on the compression, so you're gonna put all the weight back on the front, the rear wheels. Sorry, the rear wheels, and that will make you understeer. So be patient, and then as you feel it right here, you can see the compression do its thing. You can see the wheels get down on the floor at the same time as they get back on throttle. It's like the perfect timing. Then you're good. Like I'd say like a tenth before that, and you would understeer. So keep that in mind. Keeping it a bit wide here because I want to keep as much speed as possible for the straight coming up. So I don't want to hug this inside curb. And then keeping as tight as you can. So through there, I'll be right over here. So just keeping the inside. And that is a 141.446. So I hope you enjoyed the lap guide. I hope it was useful. And if you have any questions to me or the other coaches, we'll be in the Discord for your questions. So thank you for listening.